Historical Eats, Historical Eats, Historical Eats.
Today's episode features a recipe for lightning cake and for caramel marshmallow frosting from a 1915 Rocky Mountain cookbook published by the Ladies' Society of the First Congregational Church of Park City, Utah. It comes from our Ruth D. Bezalius collection, number 2016.5.1.2.
Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Historical Eats. I'm here with Dalton, and for this episode we're going to be making a lightning cake from 1915 and pairing that with a caramel marshmallow frosting. But to add a little bit of extra to it, we're going to compare it to a vanilla box cake from today's modern times, made by our own Betty Crocker. So let's get started.
Once again, we'd like to thank The Market at Park City for sponsoring Historical Eats and providing all of the groceries that you see for this recipe. So we decided to compare the box cake of today and the 1915 lightning cake, more or less making them at the same time to see which one was faster. Turns out the boxed cake is quite a bit faster. For our lightning cake recipe, it more or less comes with 3 main steps. First, you need to drop 2 eggs in a cup and fill it with milk. I took that to mean 1 cup of milk, and I beat that together, then added it in with 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 cup of sugar, 1 1/3 cups of flour, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder, plus 4 tablespoons of melted butter. Then the recipe asks you to beat that together for 5 minutes, and then it asks you to add in 1 cup of chopped nuts. The recipe did not specify what kind of nuts. We went with almonds because that is a common nut to use in cakes. And then as you can see, we also tried to bake them at the same time. The recipe didn't specify a baking time or temperature, so we decided to roll with the same time and temperature recommended on the box cake. And as you can see, the box cake cupcakes came out right on time, and the 1915 recipe cupcakes did not. So we had to bake those a few extra minutes. So all in all, the lightning cake was slower than a box cake from today. For the caramel marshmallow frosting, the recipe asks you to boil 1.5 cups of brown sugar with 1/2 cup of cream. Then you add in 1/2 pound of melted marshmallows. Once you add in the marshmallows, the recipe says, quote, beat until thick enough to spread. It took about 10 minutes for it to get pretty thick. And then we also recommend adding in some more cream to incorporate after the recipe thickens. That way it becomes more of a spreadable mixture than straight up caramel. And once you've got your frosting and your cupcakes are cooled, then you frost your cupcakes. We frosted both cupcakes with the historic frosting and plan to disguise the cupcakes for our coworkers to try.
Alright, Sophie and I are going to try these right now, and eventually we're going to bring them to the museum and let our coworkers try them, but while they're fresh, we wanted to get a taste, so we're going to try the historic one first and then compare it to the modern boxed version.
Cheers!
In general, the 1915 recipes are pretty vague in terms of how you're supposed to cook everything.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. Kind of bland. It needs the sweet frosting.
The authors of the recipe book
They're really
would
heavy.
have assumed that most of the people making these recipes
Very almondy. I feel like a full cup of almonds was kind of a lot. Could have done a little less.
Yeah.
But not bad.
would have a tried and true way of baking a cake for a certain time at a certain temperature. Obviously, without that information, we don't know exactly how they were doing it.
I was worried the frosting would be too sweet, but it's actually not that bad. Especially with the cake.
So funny because how much lighter this already is. Like, just like
It's very toughy.
Yeah, it is heavy.
In Park City, most people had coal stoves that they were using when they're making baked goods.
Way lighter, which you want a cupcake to be usually, so in general, a little better, although the modern cake itself is pretty sweet, so then the sweet frosting, it's a little too sweet. So I wish
Also,
kind of combining the sweetness of the first one in terms of the cake, but I want this lightness of the box cake.
overall, not bad.
Just an interesting little tidbit historically of not including some information for a recipe.
Pretty good. So if you want to make a mountain cake and add the frosting, it'll be pretty sweet. But if you like sweet, it'll be good. And if you want to experiment and just change up the historic recipe a little bit, it would probably be pretty good if you were able to mess with the flavors a little bit. So.
Yep, overall good. And pretty quick and easy.
Yeah, thumbs up this time.
And we packed away our cupcakes to bring over to the museum for our coworkers to try. Alright, so Sophie and I already tried these cupcakes, and now we have brought a few of our coworkers to try them as well. From left to right, you already know Alyssa, in the middle is Liza, and on the right is Diane. So you three are going to try these cupcakes. One of them is from 1915, one of them is a box cake from today. The frosting on it is the same for all of them and is also from 1915. So either way, part of both of these cupcakes is from 1915, which is cool. But so on each of your lefts, I will have you try that cupcake first. Yes, so your left would be...
Gotcha.
Yeah. There we go. And so I will now direct all three of you to take a bite or eat the whole thing, however you want to do it.
So what is in the cupcake? Are we allowed to ask that?
No.
Thanks. Not allowed to ask. Got
It is made of cupcake ingredients.
Great.
Initial thoughts on this first cupcake?
It's not. Is that walnut?
Almond.
Almond. Close. It's dense. Like there's not. What was the powder that you used to make it right? Baking powder? Yeah.
Which I know they had.
We did.
That was a sticking point.
We almost forgot it, but we included it. So.
It's not as sweet as I would expect. So
Yeah.
it's almost like more of a muffin-y texture and taste.
But it almost it
I quite like it though. It's pretty good. Yeah.
How's the frosting?
frosting is good. Sticky. It almost feels like it tastes like maple.
Yeah,
Not caramel.
my great grandma used to make these
like
maple cookies. With
Tastes like a maple nut goodie, which I'm not sure if you know what those are. They got discontinued a couple years ago. It's very sad.
But yeah, it's a brown sugar based caramel, so that's probably why it tastes more mapley, I guess.
That makes sense.
All right, go for the second cupcake.
Oh, it's double.
We had to have a way to differentiate them, so that when we were passing them out, we knew which ones to get.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I know. I know things.
Wow, way to brag.
Okay. Yep. Fluffy, airy, no nuts.
Yeah, this feels more like a regular cupcake.
Yeah, that's my guess. This is a box.
Right.
This is box.
So you're all in agreement that the one that you just tried is.
Although I do know you had baking powder, which is usually in a boxed recipe.
But
no, I'm
also,
gonna stick with my initial gut instinct. I think this is the boxed one.
I do too, but because it also rounded it like a normal box cupcake.
It's got the little muffin top.
And it feels sweeter too.
Yep, it's sweeter. Which means there's probably more chemicals in it.
Well, you are all correct. That is the box cupcake. So the first one you tried is from 1915. How do you think they compare?
The old one feels more like a meal. More like
It's heavier.
Yeah.
It's heavier.
Sticky frosting.
I know. It's very sticky.
It makes sense being caramelized.
I think they're both great. It's gonna sound terrible, but I'm more on the side of the box cake. I like it better. But
It's
I'm not
fluffier, yeah.
but I'm also not a nut in my food type of person. If I'm gonna
That's
have
fair.
nuts, I'd rather
I will
just
say,
eat trimmings.
it asked for a cup of nuts for the amount of batter that we had created. It was way too much nuts.
I kind of like it. I mean, it wouldn't be what I reached for a nice sweet dessert, but honestly, I could see myself grabbing that for a good brekkie. Thanks for watching episode 2 of Historical Eats.
Historical Eats, Historical Eats, Historical Eats.